talk about musicians.
Yeah.
Patty has some musicians in her family. I don't have it, or well, I didn't have a lot of musicians in my family. Not in my immediate family. Mm-hmm. So you said there's only two of you that don't have music?
Yes, I am not a musician, but I come from a family of musicians. There's 8 of us in my family. I have 7 siblings. And out of 8 of us, 6 are musicians. They either play instruments or sing. And 2 are not. And I'm one of the 2 who, I can't do any of that. I have a good ear. I think I can hear things musically that other people kind of miss, but I don't have any of the talent as far as singing or playing instruments or anything like that. But these are my older siblings too, so I grew up around it. I was 5-6 years old, and my brothers had a band, and they were upstairs in their bedrooms with their guitars and practicing and all of that kind of stuff.
That's so cool. See, now I didn't think I had anybody in my family, but now that I think, I have a couple of cousins that were in bands, but they were older than me too. So it really didn't affect me. In my immediate family, we grew up in the country. We were outside running and climbing the hills and, climbing trees and all that. Didn't have time for music, But I always wanted to sing. Mm-hmm. See, that's where, they always say, find a job. Mm-hmm. Or when you go to find a job, you should think about what you loved to do as a kid.
What your passion
And when I look back, the only thing I ever wanted to do was sing.
Well, that's great.
But it's weird because I've done every other job since then that had nothing to do with singing. And now I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to try to maybe gear things a little bit more toward that. I'm old enough now, I suppose I probably should decide what I want to be when I grow up.
Exactly.
But I would run around, like I said, we grew up out in the country. We were miles from anywhere. And I would be walking down the creek bank singing and as loud as I could sing and listen to it echo if I could.
That's great. I just think it's so awesome to see people pursue their goals, even if it's later in life, which we kind of talk about here on Incredible Buzz. But on that note, Chris, tell us what's coming up.
Well, first I want to lead into it just a little bit. So anyway, what I wanted to do was talk a little bit about when I was younger and stuff, and I was in a play when I was in high school, so I got to sing one of the leads in the musical. And then I didn't do much singing. I actually, when I got married, my husband played guitar, so I talked him into having a band, but I got to run sound.
Oh,
so I ran sound, and I sang just a couple of songs. And I always used to joke and say, they pay me to run sound, and then I'd have to give them money back to let me sing.
Oh,
so
no.
So off and on, over the years, I would be with different bands, and I would run sound, and I sang just a few songs. So for about 20 years, I hardly sang at all. And then one of my cousins decided to start a band. He asked me to sing with him, so I got to be a lead singer when I was way old. We won't talk about how old I was, but just a few years ago, I got to start being a lead singer. So now I get to sing again.
Oh, that's good.
So I was so nervous. My knees were knocking. I couldn't hardly think straight. And I'm finally getting past that point where I actually can sing and actually think of the words kind of at the same time and stuff. Yeah. So I'm working really hard to get past all that nerves. So just because you love to do something doesn't mean you don't have nerves.
Well, and see, I find that interesting because I'm not an entertainer or, I don't have that sort of talent. And so I find it interesting when people say things like that. I'm so nervous and I don't think I'm going to be able to sing. And I always think, well, you've got the talent and you're up there doing it. Why are you nervous?
Oh, my God. I'll tell you what, I was so nervous. My knees were knocking. If you didn't see my knees knocking, my brain was shaking. That's how nervous I was. I couldn't think straight. And I only sang the same 2 songs all the time because I had a group of friends that when we would go out dancing or something, then would say, she sings. That's how I started again. Oh. Really.
Well,
and
that's cool,
so then I would
get
get
up
sing.
there.
I got up and sang with your brother's band a few times. I would be so scared. And I didn't even know if I'd remember the words. And I sang the same 2 songs. I'm still doing the same 2 songs because bands, they don't know a lot of girl songs.
Well, okay, let me just quickly tell you one of the reasons that I don't sing. First of all, I can't sing. I can't really carry a tune. I mean, that's just a fact. But one time, after a few drinks, my brothers have always had bands, and one time I was listening to them play, and I had a few drinks, and I got up there, and I would do this often. I'd get up on stage and just get right back down because I can't sing. But I had enough where I sang. And my brother, when I got done, I actually stood there and sang the song all the way through. And my brother looked at me and said, "Wow, Patty, that's the best I've ever heard you sing, and you still sucked." So I was like, okay, I
Is that
won't
the
be up
last
here
time
again.
you got up and say,
Yes.
"Oh, that's too
No,
bad"?
it isn't really. I have since a couple times, but I have fun with it. I don't care. It's okay. We all have different things we do, and that's just not one of mine, you know. But there is something Chris is going to be doing in February that I think is so cool.
Well, let's just say, I'll say it again. I don't think life should be boring. So, in February, I'm going to go try out for The Voice. Now, let's just say, applause. No, let's just say I don't think I'm very good, but I think I'm good enough to at least go try out. A friend of mine told me that she goes to these things. She's gone to America's Got Talent and gone to The Voice. And I said, oh, that's so exciting. I would love to do that sometime. Well, she took me up on it.
Well,
so
great.
Last February we went. And, of course we got beat out. But the funny thing is in the room that we were in, I can't remember if there were like 15 people in the room. One of the girls that beat us out ended up on The Voice this season.
Oh, that's really cool.
But I missed that show. So what I heard is that she didn't do that well. She got beat out right away. Mm-hmm. But now I have to go look that up and try to find that show because I really want to see how she did, not being that she beat us out. But it was just the funnest experience. I mean, it's like, so I'm going to do it again. So February 7th, I will be auditioning in Chicago for The Voice.
And that's awesome. That's what the show is about, you know. So, go for it.
Yeah.
That's great.
So anyway, so my thing is if you have a dream, if there's something you want to do not let life stop you. I mean, I've always had this dream, but I've always worried more about making money and you know, different things like that. And of course, money is important when you have to pay your bills.
Well, you have to be realistic to a certain extent.
I let myself get sidetracked off the things that I want to do. So now I've decided, you know what? I don't care if I'm good enough. I don't care about any of that. Well, I do, really do care whether I'm good enough or not. But I'm not going to let it stop me. And I will try to prepare. I've got plans to meet with a vocal coach and some of that stuff. But I'm still going to do it. Even if she tells me I suck, it doesn't matter.
You're not, you don't suck. And I won't say that you're not good enough. It's just a matter of if you win the competition or you don't win the competition, you're there for the experience. And just the fact that you're going for it, that's awesome. Not a lot of people would do that.
Live your dream.
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, and that's why, because life should be an incredible buzz.